Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you're listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever. Today on Shut the Front Door, we are excited to be joined by Realtor and interior design specialist Amanza Smith. Amanza is also one of the much-loved stars of Selling Sunset, the Netflix reality show that has been keeping us all entertained this summer. Amanza graduated from Indiana State University with a major in interior design and has since dabbled in modeling, commercials, and TV shows. Since then, she's found her way back to the career she loves most, interior design, and has decorated and staged homes for Hollywood's elite. Amanza currently works for the Oppenheim Group in LA as their in-house interior design expert. Mom to daughter Noah and son Breaker, it's a joy to welcome Amanza Smith to Shut the Front Door.
That was pretty impressive. Can you send that to me in a paragraph? That was a good bio. I'm like, wow, I did that. Okay, I sound pretty cool right now.
Where are you if you're not in LA?
I'm in Florida.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I came to visit. My dad lives in Florida. So the kids and I came to visit him, and we're all still kind of we're kind of jet lagged. We don't know what's going on.
I know. I can imagine. Well, look, I'm really excited about chatting with you today, Amanza. And you're like the busiest interior designer on the planet at the moment.
I am. It's hilarious because I've done less interior design and more press since the pandemic and since the show aired. It's because we were on a lockdown and I couldn't really go into my clients' homes.
Yeah.
And now that things are starting to pick back up business wise, and then we've got press and like photo shoots and everything else on top of it. And I'm like, and homeschooling because the kids are back in school, but from the house. I'm like, holy shit, this is like, it's a lot. Yeah. So I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground.
It's a lot for so many. It's like so shocking. And just, it's like this extra juggle on top of everything else that you'd normally be juggling on a normal day.
Yeah. So. But the good thing about it is, so we like to look at the silver lining, right? If they were in actual school, we wouldn't be able to travel and visit family and all that, because like right now they don't have to wake up and get on their school until noon because it's only 9 a.m. in LA. So they're loving
totally.
it.
Yeah, I can imagine. And oh my God, there's so much happening in America right now. We are like all in Ireland. I don't know. Have you ever been to Ireland?
No, I have not. But I'm sure you've heard.
Yes.
No, I have not been to Ireland.
Well, you got to come here.
Well, my mom is German Irish, so I need to get there sometime.
That is brilliant. No, you really should come. Honestly, we'd all love to see you over here. We're huge fans of Selling Sunset. I mean, it's just been incredible.
It's a trip. I never expected. I mean, when they did the first season, I wasn't on it because I was doing something else, and I also wasn't a real estate agent. But it wasn't this big at first, and so everybody's just been kind of like, ooh, taken by surprise. It hasn't stopped, and we're so grateful. It's really opened up a lot of doors. Yes, for not just for me, my kids, my family. It's been really a good blessing, especially in this time where a lot of people are struggling with work and this and that. And I can't complain. I am very grateful to my Selling Sunset fans. And it's so much fun. I worked with all my best friends, and now we get to enjoy this moment together. And it's kind of like a pinch myself. Like my best friend Mary and I were like, whoa, you used to sleep on my couch. And like, we used to do like bootleg music videos together and like shitty little modeling jobs and make our own clothes and like,
I know,
drink Mountain Dew and smoke cigarettes for breakfast. Well, I don't even know if anybody in LA at this point would still know what it was. Back in the day, it was like, we came from the Midwest. In the Midwest, everybody drank, and they called it pop. It wasn't soda; it was pop.
Yeah.
We were young, and we weren't eating organic and drinking cold pressed juices at the time. We were smoking cigarettes and drinking Mountain Dew. It's like we thought we were never going to age, and I don't know. I think it preserved us actually, because I think we both look pretty good for a bunch of old hags.
You definitely do. So, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I have a few questions for you, and I'd love, if I could, just to start with my first question, which is your childhood home. What are your first memories of your childhood home?
Oh my gosh. Well, I grew up in a trailer, so it was very small. It was just small. And we had wood. Still to this day, it's my pet peeve as an interior designer. One of the least aesthetically pleasing elements in a home, I think, is if they have wood paneling.
So how long were you in the trailer? How long, kind of talk me through that. So until you were a teenager, or how long, do your memories go back? So
I remember before we even lived in the trailer, we lived in a studio apartment, which is, I don't know if it's the same word in Ireland, but it's just one room. Like the living room is the bedroom, is the dining room. And then there's a kitchen, like a small kitchen and a bathroom. And so we gardened. So until I was 5. And then we moved to the trailer. But it was like when we moved to the trailer, it was like we were moving into like a big house, because we'd just come from the studio. And I remember that's how I became so infatuated with interiors and designing, because I would lie on my back in my trailer and I would stick my feet up in the air. And when I would do that, it kind of looked like there was a step, because the ceiling got a little bit higher before the hallway. And I would lie there and I would remember thinking like, oh, when I grow up one day, I want to live in a house that has steps, because the trailer didn't have steps. And so for me, like if you had steps in your house, like that was a very fancy house. And so I just was obsessed with like interiors, because ours was so shitty. And so I would go to my friends' houses, and then I would come home from their house and like try to mimic what their rooms looked like. But I would have to do it with like what little, supplies we had. So I became really good at DIY from like age 5. And from there it just grew into like this obsession with interior design. And
what motivated you to move then from interior design to selling homes?
Well, so because I've been best friends with Jason for, 20 years. And so when I was doing interior design, because I didn't always do interior design, I didn't always use my degree, because I had some pretty good success with modeling when I first moved to LA. So I didn't start back into my interior design until about 8, now it's been almost 9 years ago, after my divorce, after I'd had the kids. And I thought that it wasn't as wise to go back to full-time modeling with 2 kids. And so I then started to use the skill, that I had learned in school. Or I say that they didn't really teach me much in school that I didn't already know. I feel like you're either a really good designer, or you're not. I think that you can't really learn how to become, you have to have this creativity, and you have to have an eye, and, the balls and the ability to kind of go against the grain and put things together maybe that other people wouldn't. Or there's not really, the things that I learned in school were like furniture placement and art history and architectural drafting and, what types of fabrics were what and textures and things like that. But I think that as far as creativity comes, it's not really something you can teach. So I feel like that was just kind of in me. But I started modeling and I was like, oh, I can make a lot of money just doing this. So I did that for many years until after I had kids and was a mama, and then a single mama. And then I was like, okay, let me try to use my skills. But I was already in LA for so long, and there's so many amazing interior designers in LA. So I was frightened because I hadn't ever practiced my craft since I finished going to school. And so I was hesitant. So I just started doing, little jobs here and there. And then Jason and I, we were friends the whole way. And then when he started doing real estate, he brought me in to stage a few of the homes that he was selling. And I guess I impressed because then he hired me at the Oppenheim Group as their interior design specialist. And then after working there about like a year, he was like, you should just get your real estate license because you're already going into all these homes and you meet all these people. And it's just another way to make, some really good money for you and the kiddos. Because obviously at this point I was, already divorced, and I was like, you know what? Okay, let me see if I can do it. I don't like to study. I don't like to read. Like, I'm old. And so I figured out like the quickest way to get the license, which probably isn't the best thing to like put out to the world. But I found like this super quick program where you pay this guy like $500 and it's like a crash course, and it's 2 days in a row, and it's 9 hours one day and 9 hours the other day. So I literally popped an Adderall and sat through the thing for 9 hours, 2 days in a row, and then took the final exam like a couple days later and passed. So it wasn't as hard as I thought. And then I already was in with the number one real estate brokerage in West Hollywood. So it was kind of a no-brainer. At the time, I'm like, whether I ever use this or not, it's probably a really wise investment for yourself. Mm-hmm. And, it's worked out really well because I've sold a few things, and, then I joined the cast of the show, and I still get to do my interior design. And so I kind of, I just have the best of both worlds. I can sell the house and then design it. So that's
totally.
That's kind of the plan.
It's like the happiest you've come full circle totally in your career. It's really great to see that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I actually, the other day, I kind of sat back and pinched myself. It's been a tough year for my kids and I. And we've fallen into a really good groove. And, now that mommy's like kind of balling, it feels really good. But, that most certainly was not and has not been the case since my divorce. It's been whether I was, dating somebody who was helping me along the way, or I was still just kind of scraping by with doing my modeling stuff and then a little design gig here and there. I was like always pretty tall. And that was even when my kids were going to their dad for a week, every other week. And then when we got put into the position that they were with me every day, all day, every day of the week, I was like, had a bit of a freak out moment because I'd only just gotten my license, and I was like, now I don't get a break, and now I have to hire a full-time nanny, and so it was kind of a panic. And then the pandemic hit after we stopped filming, and even that was a little bit stressful because I was like, well, how am I going to go sell houses now? I'm the newest agent and I don't know anybody, so I have to still be the girl that goes out and is very social and gets her clients that way, and when you can't do that, it kind of puts a big fat pause on everything. Yeah. But things have picked back up, and I had a really amazing day the other day. There was an event that that they hired me as a model for this clothing company, and I got to have like a guest list, and I took my daughter with me, and I was looking at the pictures afterwards, and I came home and might have been a little tipsy, so maybe I was a little more emotional than normal, but I saw the picture of my daughter and I like on the red carpet, and I was like, holy shit, like I did this. Look, she's 10 and we got to experience that moment together, and it was just so cute. She looked so beautiful, and like I'm like, this is my kids don't even realize, I don't think at this point, like how blessed they are, like how, I mean, they do and they don't, but I was like, I most certainly wasn't walking red carpets when I was 10, and definitely not when my mom was the guest of honor. And I just like cried for a little bit because I was like, oh, thank you, God. Like, we're good. Like, we're out of the, I was like, ooh. So
that was a stellar memory and moment in your life for sure.
Yeah, it was fun. It was it was overwhelming at the time. I'm not going to lie. I'm still not used to this. And my friends are always like, I'm like the life of the party usually. I'm the joker and the one that's dancing and like just making everybody laugh. And Mary makes fun of me. She's like, oh my gosh, we go to the nightclub, or not now, but like when we used to. She's like, they would call me the mayor. They're like, you go to the bathroom and you come out and you're best friends with the lady that's selling like candy and cigarettes and tampons in the bathroom. You talk to everybody. I'm just like, that's me. But when you put me in a situation where all the attention is on me, it is actually very uncomfortable. And I was like pounding margaritas at the thing because I was so nervous. I was so anxious, and like nobody could see it, but on the inside, I was literally having like a panic attack because it was just really uncomfortable for me. But
can I ask you a question? How do Brett and Jason decide which agent can sell which home? How does that process work, do you think?
Well, they don't really have like there's no real method. I mean, a lot of times the girls know the client. A lot of the listings that the girls bring, they've brought in themselves because they know the client, or it's a referral that one of their other past clients has given them. But then a lot of times Jason gets bombarded with just people, wanting to have us sell their homes. And so I think, and I mean, I don't know, you'd have to ask Jason this, but I believe that whoever is like putting the most effort forward and whoever is like in the office every day busting their butt is probably going to have a little bit bigger of a chance of getting a listing or a co-listing than, somebody who's not. And I think it's a pretty big misconception that Mary is given every listing. Mary's been a real estate agent since before any of the girls at the brokerage. She stopped for a while because she had moved to New York, and she actually lived in London for a little bit. And then when she came back, she was like a personal assistant and a bartender, and then she joined the Oppenheim Group. But she had done it like years ago, and she'd been very successful in it down in the beach cities, like in Manhattan Beach. So she already had a client base, and she already had a ton of experience. And so she brings a lot of the listings to the table. And then, Jason does give her some listings and you can ask anybody that works in the office, myself included. I don't even go to the office every day. I think I've been to the office 5 times since March. I work from home. I call in. I stop by to hang out with everybody sometimes, but I don't take my computer and just hold up shop in the office. And our old assistant, I was just talking to him the other day, and he doesn't work with us any longer, but he was like, yeah, everybody gives Mary such a hard time about being handed these listings. And he goes, but I can tell you from, work. He was Jason's driver for a while, and he was also like kind of the office assistant. He's like, from working there every day, he's like, she was the only one that was there like clockwork every morning, sat up her computer, was like making cold calls and, following up on every email. And everybody can give her as much shit as they want, but like she really, really is such a hard worker. And if he's ever given her anything like above anybody else, it's strictly because of that. It has nothing to do with that they dated or, their best friends or whatever. And he's given other people listings too. Chriselle just got one the other day. I'm pretty sure he helped her out. I don't know. It's kind of...
But Jason really believes in you, or that's how it comes across definitely on Selling Sunset. Which of the two is tougher to work for, or do they have like different strengths?
Jason.
Okay. Okay, Jason.
Well, I've always been just closer to Jason naturally. I mean, because back in the day when we first met, I don't know, I don't know if he was like had a serious girlfriend and he just wasn't around the friend group as much or what, but I just got closer to Jason. So we have a little bit different of a relationship than Brett and I. I mean, Brett and I, my kids call them both Uncle Jason, Uncle Brett. Like we're really like family. But I think it's Jason because we're closer, he's able to be a little bit tougher on me because he does believe in me. I mean, Brett does too, but Jason's he's more like the big brother that's going to give you tough love, And Brett's just more, he's just more like kind of passive when it comes to things. Like I was late, obviously everybody in the world knows that now, but Jason would be the one to reprimand you, not Brett. So like, I don't know. I think, Jason, they're not hard to work for. They're like, you just have to know how to talk to them. I had to learn how to kind of talk to them though as a boss. It was different for me because when Jason and I's friendship is like, we will just rip each other apart, like jokingly, you know. If he says something, I'll like smart off back to him, and we have this thing. He thinks he's really funny, and he's really not. He's really not. He's really. I mean, sometimes once in a while he'll bust off a good joke, but for the most part, I'm so witty, and my jokes are like so much funnier.
No, there's really good synergy between you. It really comes across. You can see that. And I love Jason's expression. He said it once that 10% of agents do 90% of the business. I thought that was so interesting. So what makes a top estate agent in LA? What do you think is the secret ingredient?
Like anything else, consistency, structure, and hard work. Like you have to show up. You know, I could be probably selling a house right now if I would actually go into the office every day and, and follow up on your emails. And you have to you can't be afraid, because look, in real estate, there's a lot of people that, and especially now that we have a show, everybody in there, it's like, okay, I have a client in this. And you have to vet out your clients. You have to, make sure they're pre-approved. You have to look into them, because you don't want to waste your time, because so much of real estate is you're not being paid. You get a listing and then you might sit in an open house every Sunday from 2 to 5 or 11 to 2 with no buyer, and you're just, all of that is your free time.
Yeah.
And so you really have to just be consistent and like to be persistent. And that's one thing that Mary does. Like even when everybody else may be like, okay, I need a break this weekend. Let's all go get a room and like just go have a staycation somewhere. And Mary's like, I have an open house, or I have she really, it pays off. There's a reason why she has closed 7 escrows in the last month. Like it's not a fluke. Yeah. She's balling.
Yeah. And do you think
also, I think that ethics and being loyal and being fair and being, you just have to be kind. That's just everything in life, right? Don't be a dick, and be a kind human being. And your clients will, if you've done a good job, they will come back to you, and 2, they will refer you to anybody that they know. Once you get into the luxury real estate business, it's quite easy. Like if you sell a house for $7 million, chances are that person that bought it has another friend that has a little bit of, wham too, walking around money.
Yeah.
so they're gonna refer you to their friends,
Totally.
or they'll use you again.
And do you think the selling approach is different on the East Coast from the West Coast? Are they different?
I mean, I don't know much about the East Coast. I know that we have a brokerage license on the West Coast, but I haven't personally. I've never watched I haven't seen the show. I know there's $1 million listing like
Yes.
New York or something. I don't really, maybe I've seen it a couple times. I don't really remember. I don't really know what the difference is.
Mm-hmm.
It is most certainly a different type of real estate. You don't get as much bang for your buck, and it is, it's just different. There's no, the amenities are different. In New York, if you had a yard and a pool, like that's not even possible. So there's just a lot of different things. I wouldn't even know, besides a view, what would be like the best sell.
Yeah. I loved the idea that yourself, Jason, had of the concierge business idea. How's that going for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I have, since the pandemic, everything was put on a little bit of a hard pause. I do know that we have a few projects in the works right now with that, and people really like it. And for me, it was a good way to get in and kind of learn, more about the house as I was doing my thing. It's kind of the best. It's kind of the perfect little recipe for me, to be honest, because I love staging. I love designing. I love, picking out like fixtures and finishes, and all of that is really, really fun to me. So it's interesting to see like how you marry the two when you're, selling the home. Heather and I had a lot of fun.
And was the concierge business concept, am I right in saying that it's not just about staging the property, it was about actually doing a few home renovations that might totally improve the entire property? So
Yeah, because many times you'll go in to do like a listing appointment, and the person, you see the house, and if it just had, if you just changed the hardware and painted your kitchen cabinets, or if you just changed the floors, or if you just changed out like just a few little things, like it adds so much value and so much just appeal. People can't, not all people, but a lot of people, the reason why they hire designers or stagers is because they walk into a space and they can't picture what it would look like if, can't picture, okay, what would it look like if there was, new hardwood floors, or if this wasn't a ceiling fan and it was like a chandelier, if there weren't paneling in this bedroom and it was nice, drywall with paint. So to be able to show them that, and we, it always ends up, it works out for us because we put the money in, the brokerage pays for it, and then we take off the back end, but it adds so much value to the home. It makes so much sense. Jason's a genius when it comes to this. He really does eat, sleep, and breathe real estate, and he's really, really, really good at it. And not only that, but he's also a licensed contractor, and so he knows every step of the way. Like, he can look at the home and tell them exactly how much it would be and what they should do and how much value it's probably going to add to their house. And 9.5 times out of 10, he's spot on. So it's kind of not every brokerage probably has the ability to do that. It's not like the cheapest thing, but he's made the brokerage into something that we can do that, and so it's worked out very well for our clients.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect business for you, the concierge business, because you're getting a bit of your design in, and then you're getting the sale in, so it's win-win for you.
Yeah, I mean, let me be very honest. If I wasn't working for the Oppenheim Group, like, I could never go work for another brokerage. My passion is still designing and staging and designing furniture, but because I have to have my best friends still kind of hold my hand and carry me through any real estate transaction. So it would be too intimidating for me to even, that wouldn't be something. I would never just spin off and go just be a real estate licensed agent, or a licensed real estate agent. I always, always, always will be incorporating some sort of design or something. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to do just real estate. So this concierge is my purpose.
Got it. And before the pandemic, Amanza, what was it like with all the fans waiting outside the front door? Was it insane?
Well, we didn't have that really, because guess what? We finished filming exactly 24 hours before the lockdown in LA. And so because people knew we were filming, but it wasn't the same as it is now. Now, when you go to the office, it's crazy. Like, I Ubered to the office the other day from somewhere. I can't remember where I was. And I had to pee really bad because I just been in traffic all the way across LA. And I get out and I see we have there's a bus stop bench in front of the office. And there were 4 people sitting on the bus stop bench. And there was 6 people standing lined up at the door. And there was a couple other people just awkwardly peeking through with their hands covering the glare. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I knew what they were there for. And so, but I had to pee so bad. I just got out. I got out of the Uber and I just walked right past them and inside. And they were probably like, what a bitch. But after I did my business, I went back outside and I was like, I'm so sorry. I just really had to pee. And so it was fine. We took a bunch of pictures, but I mean, again, it makes me super anxious because I'm just not used to it. But I do. Yeah. It is flattering though when people are so kind and so, and I love it. I have a lot of little kid fans, which I totally love, because I love kids more than I like adults. So I like that I have a kid fan base. I don't know how many, but there's a lot of. If I haven't met the kid, there's been a parent that'll be like, oh my God, my 10-year-old is obsessed with you. And I'm like, really? That's awesome.
I know.
Kids are just so much cooler than grownups,
Yeah, that is so true. And what do you find are the biggest trends in homes at the moment? Are like, I've seen a lot of his and hers bathrooms and separate walk-in wardrobes. That just seems kind of normal. So like, what are the new trends in these ginormous houses you're working on?
Yeah, normal when you've got a bajillion dollars in the bank, right?
Exactly.
Right now is matte black hardware. Like you'll see like the matte black, like
Yeah.
sink faucets and shower
Mhm.
hardware. So there's that very like matte black trim in the house, like the crown molding and the doorways, and it's just a very like black and white, which I love because I'm kind of obsessed. Like that's kind of my go-to
Yeah.
trend. My trend that's like always been my thing. If you see a house that I've decorated, a lot of times it's like a black and cream neutral like color palette with just like pops of color, which I love. And then what else? The bathrooms. There's a lot of people are taking a lot of elements from mid-century modern homes
Mhm.
and then incorporating them into like new builds. And so the term is California modern, but well, I guess if it wasn't in California, do they still call it that? I just thought of that as I said it out loud. I don't know. But yeah, like the mid-century modern elements in homes, people put trees, like olive trees in the middle of the living rooms, like with like an open atrium type of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, more as far as like exteriors, a lot of people are moving away from like huge like floral and flower gardens and doing more succulents. People are more cautious about water, and then
Yeah.
so yards are becoming a little less high maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what's the one thing you find that everyone wants in their Hollywood homes these days? Like, what's the one thing that everybody wants that they know their neighbors have, like keeping up with the Joneses and all of that?
A home theater and a separate like entertainment, like sometimes even the full bottom floor of the home will be the bar slash theater. So it's almost like a separate entertaining area. Obviously, a very nice wine closet, wine cellar. If you're lucky enough to have a pool, but a lot of places in the Hollywood Hills, that's not an option. So
Okay.
sometimes in LA, it's kind of like you either have to to find both of these things I'm about to mention are very hard. You're either going to get a view, like a city view, like a really nice city view you can see, or you will get like a pool in the yard. So, but rarely can you get both. So that's you kind of have to give up one to get the other. A lot of times, if you move closer to the valley or like on the other side of when you have not city views, you have like canyon views, which are also very beautiful. It's just not all the lights and all the city. But then you probably would be more likely to, have more options for a yard and maybe a pool, or a small yard and a pool.
When I was last in California, we went for lunch up to the Bel Air Hotel.
Oh, nice.
And we drove through the houses are absolutely insane. They're insanely fabulous.
It's crazy, right? Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy. And there's nearly like this French chateau thing going on at the moment where it just looked like there was one road of just French chateaus. You would have thought you were in France and not in LA. It's incredible.
That is actually my dream style home. I would love, to me, that's the most beautiful type of home, because when you see a French chateau from the outside, like when you know about aesthetics and interiors, like I can already just picture like all of the really intricate details on the inside, like especially if it's an original like old French chateau, to take one of those and to refurbish it but keep the original like crown moldings and like the really cool just like arch doorways, and that would be the happiest thing ever.
Oh, absolutely. And then like shortly after we were there was the really big fires, and a lot of those people had to evacuate their homes. It was shocking. Like we were 1 week just back when this all happened with the fire, and we were like, oh my God, how awful.
I know, it's insane. Honestly, I don't know. I'm such a scaredy cat when it comes to fires. I cannot imagine. It almost makes me like, I don't know if I would ever even personally want to move up to the hills. And maybe I shouldn't say that on public.
Yeah.
But I just, it happens, there's a few places that it usually happens, and it's always like in the hills around the valley.
Yeah.
I don't know, keep me on land.
Yes, I know, totally. Yeah.
Well, not obviously it's all on land, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And where is the most exclusive area to live in currently in LA? Is it Bel Air, Pacific Palisades? Is it the Hollywood Hills?
I would say ask Jason. I don't know.
Okay.
Bel Air, like the gated, some of the gated communities in Bel Air. The flats in Beverly Hills are super popular. People want to live there. But the gated communities in Bel Air. There's my Indiana accent. The gated communities in Bel Air. That's where all the fancy people live.
That's true. What's the most bizarre brief you've ever received from a client?
The most bizarre what?
Brief, like design brief.
I haven't really. I mean, to be fair, I haven't really gotten any wackos yet. Maybe now because it's I'm just busy. For the past few or several years, most of the people that I have designed for, they come from a referral of a friend or somebody that I've if I've done a friend's home, then they'll refer me to somebody else, or I'll do that friend's apartment or their vacation home or their whatever. So I guess none of them have been super weirdos because I've known them. Yeah. But I did have a girl from Singapore send me a picture of. She sent me a picture of her bedroom, and it was full on mirrored everything, just head to toe. It was definitely not anything that I had ever designed before. Mm-hmm. And she asked me if I would be able to, design something that would fit her aesthetic. And the answer was yes, but I just, because of time and shipping to Singapore and all that, I just didn't really follow up with it. Maybe I should. But, and then a lot of the furniture pieces that I design aren't really that style. I would have to go find somebody that did mirror working and a lot of something.
How would you describe your own personal style interiors wise?
Eclectic. I really like to mix. I don't like rules, and I like to mix. I'll take a super traditional home, but I'll make the inside funky and modern. I like to mix up pattern. I like to play with patterns and color. I don't did I say I don't like rules? I if somebody's well, if you paint the room black, it's going to make it look smaller. And I'm, well, yes, but it's still going to be the same size if you measure it with measuring tape. So it doesn't really, you'll still fit in there. I don't know. I like to try new things, and I like to do things that take risks. But the thing is, I haven't gotten a lot of clients that I'm going to have to make enough money to buy my own, 8,000 square foot house so that I can just go crazy and make it look super bomb, because a lot of people don't want to go as funky as I would like for them to. So my dream is to be able to one day design a boutique hotel where I can just go nuts and do every room different and make the, the lobby and the bar and just kind of go crazy and do something super funky to where people can visit it. They'll be like, "Ooh, that's cool." But then a lot of people don't want their house to look like that because of the resale and I don't know, just all kinds of stuff, or they're just not that edgy. It's when people say, "Oh, I don't know if I could pull that off," It's a pencil skirt. Relax. Yeah, just put it on.
You should pitch yourself to Ibiza, Amanza. There's loads happening there. Really cool hotels. I'm sure you could definitely get stuck into. Yeah.
Okay, well, I just signed with an agency in the UK that probably is going to be more on that side of the world, helping me get some things. So
Yeah.
maybe that's something I could have them put their feelers out for me.
Yeah, definitely. And you'd love it. It's a great place, and your kids would love it too. So how do you juggle the whole work-life balance with your kiddies?
It's hard. I'm not going to lie. I will say though, I was very, very anxious about school starting back and them actually not going to the campus. I was really nervous about homeschool because when it happened last year, it happened kind of suddenly. Nobody was prepared for it, and none of the parents knew what the heck we were doing, right? For like the whole, and there was only like three months of school left at the time, so I just kind of winged it back then, and it worked out because my kids had already been. They were like on the tail end of. They were in at the time. They were in third and fourth grade. Now they're in fourth and fifth grade, but because they were almost finished with school anyway, I was like, look, I'm going to do the best I can. And you know, I know they're going to pass because they're both doing very well. And I've emailed their teachers. And so if they miss a day or I miss an assignment or whatever, I'm not going to like kill myself to get it just perfectly right. But then when things didn't change and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a very different situation because now it's starting from the beginning of the school year. So like, it's fully up to me to make sure that they pass the fourth and fifth grade. And I was terrified, but it's actually been really nice because I can work from home. I don't have to get up in the morning and like, well, I mean, I have to get up in the morning, but it's like, I'm not rushing to get them to school and then rushing back to get on my meetings or do most of the things that I'm doing have been from home. Like I have a big design project that I'm working on right now, but for the most part, when I do a design project, the beginning stages of it I do it all from my house anyway, because it's a lot of sourcing furniture, you know, just looking over the floor plans and the blueprints and coming up with my color concept and all this stuff. And so I wake up in the morning, I make their breakfast, I like drag them out of bed, I get them set up on their Zoom class, and then once they're in class, I shut the door, and then I know that they're going to at least be in there for 2 hours before they get a break. So then I go to the living room, I sit down, I make my coffee, I get on my computer, and then I can do my thing. And it's kind of really nice because if I'm on a good roll and so many times I would be on a job site or filming or at the office, and then I'd be like, oh, I have to leave because I have to go pick them up from school. And school was like 35 minutes away in traffic or 45 minutes away in traffic. And so I don't have to do that now. So I'm actually getting more time to work on my stuff. And
you're more productive.
It's been kind of nice. And then the times that I do have to leave and go, whether I go like if I have to do an appearance or if I have to go to a furniture, I don't know, wherever I have to go, then, we have a nanny and she just comes over and it's been really cool. And like right now I said, we're visiting my family and they're able to do their school from here. So
that's so great. And do your kids watch the show? They must be like really proud of you.
They are really proud of me. They watched one episode and that was the episode that they were on. And I let them watch the episode of Aunt Mary and Uncle Romaine's wedding because they were also a part of that. But it's not really, there's so much drama. And so I don't really let them watch the whole thing. They wouldn't get it. One, they know that mommy at the house, we're very positive people. They're not even allowed to say shut up, stupid, or hate. To hear me like drop an F-bomb or hear like us talk about, Davina or like whatever it would be, they would be like, what? Why is this? This doesn't seem right because it's just a little too adult for them.
Yeah.
But I let them watch the episode that they were on, and Noah thought it was cringy, and that's my daughter, and Breaker thought that it was cool. So they both have sort of different personalities. Breaker's a little bit more of a spotlight dude, and Noah's she's more of she's drop dead gorgeous, and she wants to be a model, but she also wants to move to Paris and become and go to like a really renowned, world-renowned cooking school. So she wants to be a chef and a model. And Breaker wants to be like, I think, a gamer and a DJ.
How cute.
Yeah,
that's like all they can think about.
Yeah, they're both really motivated, but I mean, who knows? They're 9 and 10. Let's see let's see if they can pass the 4th and 5th grade with mommy as their teacher first before we start.
That is so funny.
Before we start planning their futures.
Amanza, on this side of the pond, we're always looking at our TV screens, and we're just imagining that you're rubbing shoulders, like all of you, including yourself, on Selling Sunset with the Kardashians and, you know, the cast of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And we all imagine that you have luncheons together and that you're going to the gym and the beach together. Is that true?
Well, I have never had lunch with a Kardashian. Do I know any of the housewives? We see those people all the time. I have my own handful of like, you know, fancy, I call them my fancy friends, but they're not the Kardashians. Hold on, somebody knows. I feel like I know somebody. The lady that she doesn't do my nails anymore because she actually signed on as the, she's like the Kardashians, like nail person now. She used to come to the house to do my nails, and she was so good. She was really expensive, but she was so good that every now and then you just paid it because you knew your nails were going to look so fly. But she also did the Kardashians. And so now she's like, you can't even hire because she just is like on retainer with them.
Wow.
So we had the same nail person for a while, but now I'm not fancy enough. Maybe I have to get a little more fancy and then steal her back. They're like Kylie Jenner's interior designer, Martin Ballard Lawrence.
Yeah, Martin, he's English.
He's amazing. And he actually, funny story, because I follow him on Instagram. He's one of my favorites. He and Kelly Wurzler are like my two favorites. But I was in CB2 one day, and you know how it's like when you follow somebody on social media for so long, you just feel like you know them.
I know. So true.
And I was and I just saw this person, and I'm a very like, if I'm walking down the street and I see you, I'm just like, I grin, I smile, like I say hi, and I might not know you at all, but that's just how I am. But then I really thought I knew this person, and I see him across the way, and I was like, I didn't even know the name. It was like just the face I knew. And so I like really big, like put my arm up in the air and did a big like wave, like a hi. And then like halfway through the wave, I realized that I didn't know him and that it was just like one of my idols. And I just like put my arm down all awkward and like went to the pillow section and was like, oh, okay, I'm going to pretend that never happened. So I just felt like
I'm almost certain he recognized you as well, so I wouldn't worry about it.
This was before anything.
Oh, right.
This was like 3 years ago. And so I get up to the checkout, and I'm standing there, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I thought I totally knew you. I'm like, and that's why I was awkwardly waving, but you are one of my favorite interior designers. I'm like, I'm also a designer. And so hi, nice to meet you. And he was really, really sweet, but I was like, I need to tell him why I just like almost attacked him.
Yeah.
In the middle of the
No, he is. He's so hot in LA at the moment. He worked with Sharon Osbourne as well. Like he's done a lot of big, I think Cher. He's worked with like big names.
Oh yeah, he's done, and then his house in Palm Springs.
Yes, ooh, I've seen it.
Because I was actually on I did like this design competition show on Bravo a couple years ago, and it was called Best Room Wins. And each week they had a celebrity judge, and it wasn't the week that I was on it, but he was the celebrity judge on one of the weeks. And they got to actually go to his Palm Springs home and use it as inspiration. And I was like, oh, I wish that would have been my episode.
What's the biggest budget you've ever received to design someone's home? Just curious.
200,000.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's not probably Martin Lawrence, bizarre. But Lawrence probably is like 200 million, but hey, I'm still getting started.
Hey, that's a good budget.
It's a good budget. And then the thing is, I design furniture as well. So I have my design fee. And then I also, you get commission off of the pieces. And so if I'm designing, I'm selling also my furniture. So you can make a good amount of money, a goodly amount of money.
And how does your process work? Okay, so you get a job, you're appointed, you're signed up, the whole thing. Where do you start and how does it work for you?
Well, and I don't know if this is how everybody does it, and I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but for me, I really have to, I can't make decisions. I have to look at everything, whether it's picking out a pair of shoes for myself, designing. I mean, when it comes to my own house, forget it. It's not even decorating because I can't make a decision. I'm going to have to hire somebody else to come decorate my house because I can't decide. But, so I literally, no, seriously. So I sit down and I look at the floor plan, or I'll go to the site. If the house is already built, I'll go and I walk around room to room. I measure. I take a million pictures from a million different angles, and then I go home and I sit down and I just room by room, kind of like in my head, picture what I would want to fill the space with. So if it's a living room and I'm like, okay, well, I know we're going to need a sofa. I want to do 2 armchairs, a table, some consoles, this or that. And then I just sort of fill in the blanks. So I just start sourcing and looking for the pieces that I think, would go. And if I can't find something, then I'll sketch it up and draw it myself. And then I'll have it made. And then I pick the fabrics and I just sort of put them all together and pin out, pull out pictures and so that I can show my client. I don't know how to do renderings. I am not, I went to university 174 years ago when we still did like architectural drafting, like on an actual drafting board.
Yeah.
It wasn't AutoCAD. It wasn't. So if I have renderings, I have somebody else do it for me. But for the most part, I just will take a picture of the room and then I put all the materials together and just show them kind of like a vision board or like a mood board. And then sometimes it depends. My clients, like right now I'm working with a client and the only thing I have to do is just, I'll text them a picture and they sign off on it. I'm like, how do you like this? Do you like this fabric? They're like, yep. I'm like, okay. So there's,
wow.
And then I fill in the blanks,
great.
Room by room. I try to do it. I come up with kind of a cohesive, not that it all has to match, like matchy color wise, but kind of a cohesive flow of style and like how I'm going to do the whole house. But then I just go kind of room by room and I'll, because if I don't finish the bedroom before, the dining room before, and I'm just trying to source pieces for the whole house all at the same time, I get too ADD. So I'll be like, okay, check, that room's done. And then on to the next room. And then as I go, if I want to switch it around and shift it up or be like, oh, I know we use this in a bedroom, but it would also maybe look good in the bathroom or, I don't know. In my head, there's a method to my madness. Anybody listening that's an interior decorator is probably like, holy shit, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. But look, my work speaks for itself. So it's, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you've just got your own process. It's how you work and you get the results, and that's the main thing.
I think that's kind of how every artist is. It's like you really just kind of, you just do it the way that it works for you, and it may not work for everybody, but that's what makes us artists. It's where
100%. 100%. And like, who have been your role models and mentors, like your biggest style icons in life?
I love Kelly Wearstler. I think that when I first got to know who she was, I really love the fact that she kind of is that no rules person. She'll go super Parisian antique, but then there'll be like a Basquiat painting or like, it's just like a checkered ceiling with like a paisley rug, but somehow she makes it work and it just looks really super cool.
Yeah, she's very eclectic actually.
Yeah, and then just the way she dresses is also, I'm not as rich as Kelly Wearstler yet, so my outfits are not that amazing every day, but I do feel like being an interior designer, you're able to go to work and you can have on, like right now I have on like baggy sweats and like a ballerina's wrap top, but with like a diamond necklace. And if I threw on like, Yeezy heels or like Louboutin heels, and I could go to work like this and nobody would be like, oh, you're not dressed up enough for work.
Yeah.
You can dress funky. It kind of allows you that
Yeah,
freedom, which I think is really
you're an
cool.
artiste.
I kind of dress myself the way I dress the room. And a lot of times my daughter will be like, you look homeless. And I'm like, well, that's because you don't know anything yet. But she...
That is so funny. Have you met Kelly Ressler? Have you actually met her?
I have not. Hopefully I will one day, but I went to the dermatologist about a year ago. I was a new dermatologist. I'd never been to this guy before. Well, he's actually a plastic surgeon, but I was there to get Botox, so whatever.
Okay.
And I walked in the office and I was like, holy shit, this is the nicest decorated doctor's office I've ever been in. I mean, it was just like, there was like antique glass on all the walls. And there was like this really cool custom built-in sofa that was kind of rounded. And I was like, it looks like something Kelly Wersler would design. And then I get into the doctor's office for my consultation, and like his office where he like had his desk, was off to a different room. And there was like wallpaper on the ceiling. And I was like, this is literally the nicest doctor's office I've ever been in. And I said, I'm an interior decorator, and I really appreciate it. He goes, oh, have you ever heard of Kelly Wersler? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, she's been my best friend for over 20 years. She decorated my office. And I was like, holy cow. So I felt like I met her in that moment. I was like, oh.
Wow, that is very cool. You came very close to Kelly.
Yeah. So, and I'm still friends with Dr. Frankel. So I think, I don't know, there might be a chance. I might have to just say, listen, you got to tell your girl that I'm obsessed.
Line your appointments up at the same time.
Yeah. And if I could one day buy her a $33,000 coffee table.
Oh, she's really cool. Yeah. We have a similar, different style designer, but similar coolness. Her name is Kelly Hoppen. I don't know if you've ever come up or heard of her.
Oh no, but I'm going to look her up. That's cool.
Oh yeah, she's massive in Europe, and she's incredible, and she's an English designer. Yeah, you should really check her out, especially if you're going to be signing up with the UK. She's just iconic, really.
Well, I plan to come soon, actually, because I just signed with a big modeling agent there, and they're going to try to, hit it's not for interior design, but they could maybe, help me get, I don't know, maybe I could do a little collaboration with her. We could design something together. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, you should totally contact her, and you should visit. I have a Chelsea design, so you have to come in and visit me.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I'm totally down to travel. I'm going to be honest. This is the first time I had been on a plane since before the pandemic. I was scared to leave my house. I was scared to be around anybody for so many months because I have the kids, and I'm like, I can't get sick. Like, I can't even get the flu because I'm holding have. But it's been so long, and unfortunately, my dad is quite sick right now. So we've been waiting for months, and I was kind of freaking out. Like, if I don't care, I just got to get there because if anything happened, God forbid, I would be so upset. So we just wore our masks, and I was just a crazy mom through the airport, like, don't touch anything. Give me your hand. Let's put something else around. No, you can't go to the bathroom. Hold it. Be in a cup. Like, it was very.
Yeah. Helicopter mom on speed. Just really quickly, I'm nearly finished with my questions, and I know you're busy, so I won't keep you much longer. But I just wanted to ask you, how important is social media to you and in your world?
Well, I'll be honest, before I was on a show, I didn't really, I did it, but it was a little bit uncomfortable, and I thought it was a little bit cheesy. And I used to make fun of people when I would see them standing outside by themselves taking selfies, and I was like, oh God. But now I get it. And it is, I guess if I were 20, I probably wouldn't even have those thoughts, but I'm not. I'm 43, so I didn't grow up in a world with social media. I didn't grow up with cell phones and Siri, and I was already 26 by the time they had MySpace, I think. So it's not like it's all kind of new to me, but I've seen what it has done for me in the past, several months. And it's very important, and I have to get better at it. And I have to take better pictures and learn how to tag the right things, because it really is the way of the world right now. And I know some people, that are not in my position probably think it's super cheesy as well, but it's paying for my children and I to have a really nice life right now, on top of just everything else, but it's helping. So I love it.
Oh, good.
Go Instagram.
And what motivates you? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
My children, 100%.
100% your kids. That's a really good answer. And Amanza, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I would like to be in a very committed, happy relationship. I would love to have another child. I would love for my interior design products to be somewhere in a major, I don't know, either in a major department store or designing for an already existing major furniture line, but as myself. I would like to be hosting my own either spin-off show from Selling Sunset or a new different type of show based around interior design and positivity and helping others.
Love it.
I don't know, and just super rich.
Yeah, you will have your own Netflix show one day too.
Yeah, thank you, 100%. It's been on my vision board for 6 years, so there's no doubt. It's just a matter of when. And I would love to, whatever my show is, I want the kids to love me. I don't want to win, I don't care about an Emmy or an Oscar or a Grammy I want to win a Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, if anybody I've ever spoken to has gotten through over a lot of hurdles in life, it's you, Amanza. So really nothing would surprise me. Watch this space.
Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
And can I just ask you something really quickly? So yes or no, black or white? It's a quick fire round of questions. So you just answer one or the other. Are you ready?
Yep.
Bath or shower?
Shower.
Text or talk?
Text.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Morning or night person?
Night.
Jason or Brett?
Mary.
Good answer. Really good answer. LA or Indiana?
LA.
Glass half empty or glass half full?
It depends. I'm very difficult. You want to hear my reasoning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, if I have to really get down and answer, I would say glass half full. But this is my perspective. It depends. If the glass started out empty and someone takes liquid and pours it, and they only pour it and they stop at the halfway mark, to me that's half full. If the glass starts out full and somebody picks up and they drink it down to the halfway mark, then it's half empty.
That is absolutely so true. So where do you think you started in life? Do you think you started at glass half empty and kind of filled it up to glass half full, and now you're at full?
I'm not full yet, but I definitely started out with my glass half empty, but that wasn't my choice. I had a really tough childhood and upbringing, and so I don't think any of that was not in my control. But now that it is, it's definitely filling up. Yeah,
but I think that might have been the makings of you, Amanza, because you obviously really appreciate all the successes you've had because of that.
1,000,000%. That's why, I cry with gratitude, because I know where I came from, and it's been a long time coming. People think I'm younger than I am just because I look super young, but I'm 43, so I've lived a lot of my life already, and I have to say this is because I'm doing it on my own is what feels really good. I've had a fancy boyfriend, I had a fancy husband, but I've never been fancy on my own since I had kids. I've always been sort of like just struggling with being a mom and not really, not fully there in my career and depending on somebody else. And so this is just a completely different experience and feeling for me. And it feels really good.
You deserve it. You deserve it all. I'm so delighted for you. Okay, just hang on. 4 more questions. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Walking or running?
Walking.
Long or short hair? I know you're into your hair.
Long.
Interiors or fashion?
I like both. Interiors.
Okay. And final question. 2020 or 2021?
Oh, Jesus. 2021.
Good answer. Thank you so much, Amanza, for chatting with me today. And I really wish you and your beautiful kids all the best in the future.
Yeah, thank you.